Hey, good afternoon, Warren High School 10th grade families and or students. I say good afternoon because it is afternoon here. Maybe this is morning, so good morning. Maybe it's evening, so good evening. Administration has asked me to put a small slide show together to basically let you know what's going to be happening in English 10 for semester 2. So find out what your students are exploring and or learning. Let me point out up front that this is standard English 10. This is not honors English 10. It's not transitional 10. It's not ELD 10, etc. Because the curriculum might vary from from those different English 10s. So this is standard English 10. Going down here to the next slide, these are your teachers: Mrs. Benaderet, Mrs. Dow, myself, Mr. Fitzpatrick, Mrs. Huff, Mrs. Croft, Mr. McGrath, excuse me, Mrs. Sandoval and Mrs. Singh. All of their periods are here as well as their email addresses. So if I leave any holes in this presentation, or if you just have any general questions for the teachers, please feel free to email them, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to get back to you with any answers that you may need. Getting into the content that is covered in the second semester, we do have ERWC modules, expository reading and writing curriculum. We will be covering a novel. We will be covering poetry, argumentative and or persuasive writing in the form of an essay, more than less likely, and both short and longer writings. The shorter and longer writings will lend themselves to both the novel and the poetry, and then the essay will lend itself to the ERWC modules. One thing to point out is teacher by teacher, due to the predicament that we are in, these ERWC modules might differ slightly from teacher to teacher. The standards will remain the same. Same thing with a novel. One teacher may be teaching one novel while a different teacher may be teaching a different novel. But again, and same thing with poetry, the standards will remain the same. So you should know that. Moving on, typical classroom assignments and or work. And again, this is going to vary classroom by classroom, teacher by teacher. Some of them will be common. Notes, lecture via Zoom, that's pretty much happening across the board. Video notes, discussion questions, I'm assuming that's happening across the board. Breakout rooms are sometimes used, probably not every day, but oftentimes they're used. The ERWC reading, writing, and analysis, that's pretty common. And then various assessments. It could be quizzes, could be a multiple choice quiz and or test, short answers, essays, etc. So that's basically the workload. That's kind of what we're going to be looking at in terms of classroom to classroom for English 10. Going on to resources for your student. The resources, we have a lot of resources available, which is a really good thing. Office hours, they happen every day, Monday through Friday. They change a little bit on Wednesdays, but if you check out teachers' homepages, the links should be there, the times should be there. Super, super, super accessible and super easy. So we got that going on. Built-in intervention time. This is somewhat new. Most teachers will maintain at least a half-hour Zoom time per class, and then up to a half hour after that for students who do in fact need intervention. So if makeup work needs to be done or if something needs to be retaught, that is an available resource to your students as well. And then again, teachers via email. Feel free to email teachers. They don't mind, at least I don't mind. More resources for your students, the library and the virtual resource center. Our librarian is a fantastic woman and she has a fantastic virtual library. So that exists. There is Saturday school up here, which turns out to be either enrichment and or intervention. So that's another option for your students. There is a virtual resource center. So really any question that you might have, I mean, once again, feel free to email the teachers. But most of the questions that you have would probably be answered at the virtual resource center. And then, of course, there is tutoring in just a variety of different subjects. So that is definitely available as well. And lastly, in terms of class resources, and when I say class resources, I'm talking solely English 10. We have digitized everything and or we're in the process of digitizing everything. So all class resources for the ERWC, the novel, and or poetry will be in a digital and or PDF format. So actually going to school and picking the materials will not be necessary. So I hope this answers some questions. I hope it gives you a good general understanding of what it is we're going to be doing here in the second semester. And welcome to the virtual open house night. I hope all is well. And once again, if you have any questions whatsoever, let us know. Thanks.